The streets of the nation's capital are set for a giant military parade.
Saturday is going to be a big day in Washington, D.C. You know, a lot of people said, we don't want to do that. I say, yeah, we do. We want to show off a little bit.
The event is expected to feature about 6,600 soldiers, 150 vehicles, and 50 aircraft in celebration of the Army's 250th birthday. President Trump, who will also be celebrating his birthday, will preside over the parade from a grandstand, a move that's prompting backlash and counter-protests.
We're celebrating the Army on Flag Day, and it's not my birthday. It is my birthday, but I'm not celebrating my birthday. I'm celebrating Flag Day. It happens to be the same day, so I take a little heat.
The parade is expected to cost the Army anywhere from $25 to $45 million, and millions more will be spent on security, personnel, and other costs. So here's a breakdown of what's involved. Bringing together equipment and uniforms from the U.S. Army's 250-year history, officials say the parade will celebrate all eras of the country's oldest military branch.
It's going to cost a little bit of money, but we're getting training value out of this. But also we get to tell our story.
Some of the heaviest equipment was brought in from Fort Cavazos in Texas. It was transported by rail before being transferred to trucks and staged near the National Mall. The Army declined to say how much this effort cost. The equipment includes Paladins, which are self-propelled howitzers first introduced in the 1960s, M1A2 Abrams tanks, and Bradley fighting vehicles, which move on tracks and were first used in combat during Desert Storm, Strykers, which are 8-wheeled armored vehicles that were used extensively in Iraq and Afghanistan, and infantry squad vehicles, which are newer and faster lightweight trucks. There will also be old-school touring cars, jeeps, and even a cavalry horse detachment. The vehicles, many weighing tens of thousands of pounds, will drive down Constitution Avenue. To protect the streets, steel plates have been placed where the vehicles will need to pivot. But if the pavement gets damaged, the Army says it's prepared to pay millions for repairs. The Army is also planning a paratrooper demonstration, a fireworks display, and a series of flyovers. Aircraft include Chinooks, Blackhawks, and Apaches. Each of these cost about $5,000 to $8,000 per flight hour, according to a Pentagon document. The parade could also feature historic aircraft like the B-25 Mitchell and the P-51 Mustang. The Army also had uniforms produced to replicate what troops wore going all the way back to the Revolutionary War, though the Army didn't respond to questions about the cost. Officials say the parade will be worth it because it'll be a giant recruiting opportunity, and it's expected to end with an enlistment ceremony.
Overall, this is like a big recruiting event, telling the story of the U.S. Army and its rich history, its rich heritage that's existed for 250 years.
Another cost, the troops themselves. Thousands of soldiers were bused or flown in for the event. They're staying in 2 government buildings near Capitol Hill from about June 11th to June 15th. Officials say they're sleeping on cots, eating packaged meals called MREs, and getting a per diem of $69 a day. While they're living on modest Army means, the per diem alone could cost nearly $2 million. And then there are steep security costs for the parade, which has been deemed a national special security event.
We're preparing for an enormous turnout. Hundreds of thousands of attendees. It is our duty to ensure the safety and security of every participant.
The Secret Service, the FBI, the National Guard, and several law enforcement agencies are all playing a role. The effort involves 18.5 miles of anti-scale fencing, 17 miles of bike rack, 175 magnetometers, and multiple drones. There will also be costs to the city and its businesses, including closed streets, a temporary suspension of flight traffic, and overtime pay. When similar events like inaugurations take place, it can cost D.C. $30 million or more. Some of the president's own Republican allies in Congress have expressed concern about the parade's costs, and a recent poll found that 6 in 10 Americans think the parade is not a good use of government money.